Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim Yatkrupatamaham vande Paramanandamadhavam Yatkrupatamaham vande Sadgurum Chandrasekharam. So in the last class we had finished till verse 29. Now in 29 he had said, in 28-29, those verses, Prahlada praised Bhagavan and said, you are equal to everyone. Depending upon their bhakti towards you, their desire, their attachment towards you, they get their own phala. So it is not that you had hate against my father or you love me differently. Samam sarveshu bhuteshu. That Paramatma is equal towards everyone. It is like a reflection in a mirror. Whoever sees whatever, based upon their own reflection, they will find that. In that way, even when my father came to slay me drawing his sword, when he wanted to do that, you came in this form. That was the stuti done there. In a similar vein, he continues, verse 30, to say how Bhagavan is that samam, that equanimous thing across. So now from 30 onwards, it gets into the deep end of Vedanta. The tattvas are quite intense, and those who have had some pravesha will understand the depth. But at the same time, when understood at various layers also, it is understandable. So we will see these verses one by one. Verse 30 begins as Ekastvameva Jagadetat. Ekaha means you are one. You are the only thing. That's what it means. This whole creation that we see, this universe, this that we see, is only you, O Bhagavan. Before the creation of the universe and after the destruction. So Adi Antayoho means before the creation happened and after the creation, you stay alone. Meaning prithag avasyasi means you just stay. You are just there. And therefore, because you alone exist before creation and after creation, even during creation, you are the only one that exists. There is no other vastu other than you. Going back to our classic clay and pot example, before the pot existed, the clay was existing. And the clay was just is. You cannot give it any name or form when the clay is just is there. There is no particular form to that. And once the pot is destroyed and the clay is back to clay, again you cannot give anything. You can just say clay is. When it exists as a pot, then you say it is a pot, it is some other vessel. You give it various names. Like that, before and after, Adi Antayoho, you are just there as existence, O Bhagavan. Because we see you as just existence in these two states, we know even when the creation exists, you are just is, madhyatascha. But why do we see so much variety? Srishtva gunavyatikaram. Through the modification of the three gunas, sattva, rajas and tamas, impelled by your own maya, nija mayaya idam, you see it as various varieties in nana iva taihi avasitaha. So that maya, the maya and gunas are called as upadhi. Upadhi means adjunct. I think we already saw this once. Upadhi, a simple example is like this. A very classical example again. Let us take a spatika. Spatika is this crystal that we have. It is clear usually. There is nothing in that. You just see through it and it is transparent. Now when that spatika is placed in front of a blue flower, it will seem blue. The spatika reflects that blue color. If it is placed in front of a red flower, it reflects red color. If it is placed in front of a white flower, it reflects white color. We do not say that the spatika is white, blue or red, though it appears in that way only. Spatika has no change, but it appears in various colors based upon the upadhi that is there. Similarly, Bhagavan, through the gunas and maya, appears as the whole creation. He appears as this whole variety having entered into them. What does having entered into them mean? It again the clay and pot example. The pot is created out of the clay. But you can say the pot is created and then the clay entered into the pot. That is the way we are saying here. It does not mean, it is a way of putting it. There is no other way to say it. The whole thing is Bhagavan himself. But he creates the whole thing and enters that. When you say, you cannot make the pot without clay at all. But you can poetically or figuratively say that the pot is created and the clay was put in the pot. Meaning the pot is through and through clay only. Like that, the whole of the Srishti that we see is only you appearing as the Srishti. And we understand this because Adi Antayoho Prithagavasyasi. Prithag means you, before creation and after creation, there is nothing other than you, O Paramatma. This is the way he does the stuti. He continues in 31. Isha Tvamvai Idam Sadasat. Sat and Asat. Sat means usually real and Asat means unreal. You are both Sat and Asat, but you are beyond that also. Sat means, I think we saw these examples in the first verse itself. Whatever we usually assume as reality is Sat. Everything that we perceive is Sat. The world we see, the people we see, the things we deal with, all this is, we can call it as Sat. Because it has a certain reality. Then there are some things that are absolutely Asat. Asat could refer to something like a mirage. Mirage which is non-existent but it seems to appear. Or it could refer to something that completely doesn't exist. The classical examples in the Shastras are a rabbit's horn. You can never imagine of a horn for a rabbit. There is nothing called a rabbit's horn. Or something like the son of a barren woman. One who cannot give birth, she cannot have a son. How will you talk about a son of such a woman? Like that, that is absolutely, completely unreal. We have some reality that we have around, and then there are some completely unreal. But this you, O Bhagavan, O Isha, you are different and beyond both the Sat and Asat. You are Sadasata Vyatireka. When we say, you are neither this real nor that unreal, you are the foundation for all of this. So, Bhavan Tataha Anyaha. But why do we see this Maya? Because of that Maya, this notion of self and the other comes. I am a person and I see various other people, I see various other objects. That is called as Parabuddhi. Atma Parabuddhi. My own self I experience, I am myself. But I also see Parabuddhi in everybody else, everything else. That is indeed false. There should be no Parabuddhi at all. Everywhere what we should be seeing is Atma Buddhi only. But because of this Maya, we are seeing that Parabuddhi. Why there should be no Parabuddhi? He gives in the second part of the verse, Yad yasya janma nidhanam sthiti rikshanam cha tadvai tat. From wherever a particular thing has emanated, that thing is that only. That is what he says. What does it mean? Let us say gold. We take an example of gold again. From gold we make various ornaments. From gold the ornaments have taken birth. So yad yasya janma. For the ornament, let us say a finger ring, the janma is from gold. When that ornament is destroyed as an ornament, where does it go to? It goes to gold only. So nidhanam means destruction or dissolution. When it is staying as an ornament, what is it doing? Then also it is gold only. So it manifests as gold. So janma nidhanam sthitihi. Wherever it originates, wherever it dissolves into, and wherever it is existent, that is that only. So all through this whole thing, that is gold only. So if this whole creation has emanated from Bhagavan, and at the end it again dissolves into Bhagavan during Pralaya, then during the existence of creation, why do we say it is different from Bhagavan? How can you say it is different from Bhagavan? So this is the postulate of cause and effect. Karya Karana Bhava, we call it. There is a Karana. Karana means the cause of something. The effect, Karya, always comes from the Karana only. You cannot have the Karya, that is the effect, which is different from the Karana. It is absolutely impossible to do such a thing. Anything that is an effect, you create something in this world, you have to create it from some material. When you create it from that material, it has to be same as that material. It cannot be different from the material. The thing to understand here is the Karana can always exist without the Karya. That is, the cause can exist without the effect, but the effect cannot exist separate from the cause. Let us take our simple examples again, the gold ornament. If a ring should exist, gold should always be there. You cannot have a ring separate from gold. But the gold can exist even without the ring. Gold can just be gold. It need not be a ring or a necklace or a bracelet. But any of these ornaments always need for its basis the gold. So Karana, the cause, is always existent. You can never erase the cause. But the Karya, whatever effect we get out of the cause, that can be erased, it can get created, it can stay, it can dissolve, all this can happen. So yat yasya janma sthitihi nidhanam sthitihi ikshanancha tadvai tat, that is that only. And he gives an example, Vasukalava ashti tarvoho. Ashti means bija, seed is called as ashtihi. Taru means tree. So the tree comes from the seed only. The tree is non-different from the seed. So the whole of the tree comes from the seed. He gives another phrase there, Vasukalavat. The word Vasu here refers to the Sukshma Bhuta. We have the Pancha Bhutas. Here it refers to Prithvi Bhuta. Kala refers to Prithvi. That Vasu refers to that Tanmatra Bhuta. Bhuta means pure element of earth. Between the seed and the whole tree, the seed is also made of the earth element. The tree is also made of the earth element only. In that way, there is no difference between both. That is why the tree is able to emerge from the seed. Vasu Kalavat Ashti Tarvoho. The words Vasu and Kala have different meanings here. The word Vasu means that Bhutamatra, pure element, and Kala refers to the Prithvi. We understand such difficult words only through the commentary. Vasukalava Dashti Tarvoho. So like this example of the seed and the tree is used in the Upanishads also. So that is the Upanishad that Prahlada is also using here in the Chandogya Upanishad. Very similar example is used. The bija is the effect, the cause. The tree is the effect. So the tree has to come from the bija only. So that is the example that is used here. Moving on to verse 32. This whole Srishti that is there, O Bhagavan, Nyasya idam atmani. When the pralaya happens, pralaya, the word here in the shloka is vilaya, jagad vilaya. During pralaya, this whole Srishti, the universe, the cosmos, take and you place it in yourself in the cosmic waters of dissolution, Jagat Vilayambu Madhye, and there you sleep, Sheshe Atmana. In the shloka, it has been conjoined as two words, Sheshetmana. That is a Arsha. It's a Sandhi that is Arsha, meaning Puranas can use it. The Rishivakya, we get it like that. Sheshe Atmana. You just repose there, you are just asleep there. How are you asleep? Nija Sukhanubhavaha. In experiencing your own bliss, that way you are asleep there, having dissolved the whole universe within yourself without any activity. There is no activity that is happening at that time. But then if you ask if that sleep is like our sleep, when we sleep, we don't feel anything. And we get up very with groggy eyes. Is it that kind of a sleep? Because in our sleep are that knowledge that is there, the jnana that is there, is overcome by tamas. The tamoguna is what makes us sleep. But for Bhagavan, the sleep is not because of tamoguna. Yogena militadrik. It is called as yoga nidra. His eyes are closed in yoga and Atma Nipita Nidra. We call it Nidra because he is staying in his self only. In that pure awareness, he is just staying. Therefore, it is called as Nidraha, Yoga Nidra. We call it like that. But in reality, it is Turye Sthitaha. It is neither waking state, nor dream, nor deep sleep. It is the awareness that is there through these three states, which is called as Turiya in the Mandukya Upanishad. It is called as the fourth state, but the fourth state is actually not fourth or different from the three states. The three states are waking, dream, and sleep. Something that exists through these three states, that is always existent, is called as the fourth state, Turiya Sthitaha. You are in that Turiya Sthiti. You are just reposing as awareness itself. And you do not assume this tamo guna does not come over you and you do not go to sleep. Na gunamscha yungshe. And therefore you do not associate with the gunas also. The gunas are not associated with you. This kind of a body that you have. Now when we say this body, sleep and all this, we have to understand the metaphorical, allegorical meaning behind this. When we say body, it does not mean immediately we say body, we assume ourselves. We have to look at the whole universe as the body. That is why we have various other places where we call the Vishwarupa, Virat Purusha, all these explanations are given. The whole universe, whatever creation we see, we say this is the head, that is the arm, this is the place and all that. To look at the whole universe as Bhagavan itself. How do you create this? Nija Kala Shaktya, with your power which is called as time. Kala, which is a Shakti for you, which is a Shakti of Maya. Sanchodita Prakriti Dharmanaha Atmagudham Ambhasi Ananta Shayanat Viramat Samadhehe. In the Pralaya Kala, you are there without Turiya. We saw the sleep sthiti. That is when there is no creation, Bhagavan is lying there in Yoga Nidra. When you want the creation to come about using this power of time, Prakriti here also means nature and Maya. Using that dharma of Prakriti, dharma means the nature of Prakriti is to create chaos. So when this Maya creates such a chaos, which comes from within you, Atma Gudham, you who are lying on that Ananta Shayana. See, Ananta Shayana, we usually refer to the Ananta Shesha, the snake that is there, and Bhagavan is lying on that. Ananta Shayana, the deeper meaning is Ananta is infinite. The meaning is infinite. You are just reposing as the infinite. You are just as that infinite awareness. From there you wake up. Viramat Samadhehe. The Samadhi ceases. And from your Nabhi arises that great lotus. That great lotus which is the universe itself. Mahabjam. Nabhehe Abhutu Mahabjam. That great lotus arises from your navel. How? Swakanika Vatavat. He continues that same example of Bija. From the seed, like the whole banyan tree arises. The banyan seed is very, very small. But the whole tree arises from that small banyan seed. Like that, from your navel arises this whole creation, which is also we call as the great lotus that arose from there. So Bhagavan is reposing there, and from that this whole Prakriti arises. This is the contemplation till now. Again, these verses, each verse has to be contemplated slowly with a lot of deep study. Now we are seeing a literal and overall overview of the depth of it. As we keep progressing and reading and doing Parayana, we ourselves will get into meditating upon these verses. And that is where it has to lead us to. May Bhagavan Narasimha grant us that. Any questions now we can have? Sumati Chandrasekhar.
Ram Ram.
Ram.
Guruji, actually, just you were discussing about this creation. So the question which is just cropping up is, when Bhagavan was in Shaina, Ananta Shaina, this state, at that time, what would have created this creation to actually emerge? Like you're saying the cause is always existing, but there should be some trigger which would have actually made the effect of Maya to arise, right? So what would have actually initially, triggered the thing of creating this whole Maya? Why not just remain in the Turiya Sthiti always as it is existing?
Good question. This is a very deep question. A lot of Shastra Vichara has happened upon that. I will try to give the answer in short.
Okay.
The Brahmavastu, which is Nirvikara, can exist as just as it is or as this creation. Both are possible. If it exists just as it is, then we would say it is useless. What is the point? Now, when it exists as the whole creation, then we say there are so many problems it could exist as it is. So, it is just two ways of the same thing that is existing. In the Shastras, we say because of the Ichha Shakti or the Ikshana, when we say the cause, we always use examples like pot and clay or gold and this thing. And in all those cases, these causes are all jada. They have no consciousness in them as such.
Correct.
So we think that we need a goldsmith or a potter to make that pot out of this thing.
Exactly.
In the case of the Srishti, that intelligent cause, the person who is making is also that Bhagavan itself, and one who is the material cause is also Bhagavan itself. This in a little deeper way we have dealt with in the first lecture of Sriman Narayaniyam. Because if we start a lecture on that, that will take half an hour to explain. So he is both the Upadana Karana and the Nimitta Karana. He is the intelligent cause and the material cause. Therefore, the Prakriti arises and it dissolves into that also. There are just two ways of existence. This is also available, that is also available. That is.
Actually, I want to go a little deeper on this, but then, okay.
It is a separate topic.
Yeah. Guruji, one more question on this Kala Shakti you were mentioning.
Yes.
If you can elaborate on that, what is it the power of time you're talking about? Or?
Yes, time itself is power. Kala Shakti is the power of time, which is
Because
also
the time
a
itself
part
is
of Maya.
Maya, right?
Huh?
I mean, the time itself is Maya. I mean,
correct, it is a part of Maya only. So we can call it as Maya Shakti or Kala Shakti. When Maya is there, that is when time also comes into existence. So yes,
okay.
it is a part of Maya. We call it as Kala Shakti also.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Guruji.
Panchanatam Mahodaya.
Namaskar, sir. Anyway, she has started that discussion on this. I just ask one quick question. I know it is a very deep subject. So, for the Upadana Karana and Nimitta Karana, based on this, when creation started, is it again a copy of the creator that it multiplies, or it is different?
Copy of the creator meaning?
Bhagavan creates a part of him in the universe and it propagates, and then based on their own intelligence, then they can either go into good results or bad results, things like this.
Yes.
So where does the Maya come in the picture?
So all those results and everything is a part of Maya only, whether it is Punya, Papa, Purva Janma, Parajanma, all this is within the veil of Maya or the limitation of Maya only. So Maya holds all that, and based upon those Purva Vasana, Purva Karma, that is how the creation comes back again.
That's good. Anyway, this is fine. I think it requires a lot of discussion. I agree with you. We have to have a separate discussion. This is another simple one. I think in your subject, Veramat Samadehe Na Bhera Bhut, it looks like it should be a Samastapada, or you have to split it at the end. You corrected in the previous one, but this one you leave it as is.
And this, no, it is not Samastapada, it is a Sandhi only. So you are telling in the verse here, I left it as it is because it could be Viramat Samadhehe Nabhera Bhut. We can,
Because the
those who have
previous
the
one you
script can
changed
just
it.
put
So
in this thing there and put in a Visarga there.
yeah. I know it is the Sandhi.
Yeah,
Since you corrected the previous sloka, you didn't correct it, so I wanted to make sure it is really not a.
yeah, it is not a Samastapada. It's a separate,
Okay.
two separate
That's
words.
good.
It's only a Sandhi. Yes.
Dhanyavadaha. Thank you.
And Varsha Bhagini.
Namaste, Guruji.
Namaste.
Well, here in verse 32, I see
Mm-hmm.
Yogena Militudrak.
Yes.
So this seems to be a Pratipadik. Is it? Militudrak.
Yes. Milita Drik, yes.
And another question is, I mean, every Dev Shayani and Dev Uthini Ekadashi have this question.
Uh-huh.
Like, does God ever go to sleep actually? Wakes up and goes to sleep. He's
This,
beyond time, sleep, and waking up.
correct.
And
That is why we said this sleep does not mean sleep like us. We metaphorically, because we understand these words as sleeping and waking up, we are using those words to describe these states or forms of the Lord. When there is creation, we say he is waking up, he is protecting, he is sustaining. When there is no creation, we say that is sleep because that is more of inactivity. But it is not
so
sleep.
what does
ignorance
actually
states.
what actually happens in Dev Shayani and Dev Uthini Ekadashi when we say God has gone to sleep and God is now
That also has its thing. See, now we are talking about deep Vedantic philosophy. When we come there, we are more talking about Saguna Brahman, and Devothani and Devahayana Ekadashi is more for the Devaloka. We have the Devas, for them 1 day is 1 year for us. And that
Yes.
Utthana and Shayana Ekadashi comes close to the early morning for Devas and night, so that they are going to sleep at that time and waking up at that time. That's how that is compared.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Ashok Gutsurkar.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Actually, my view is simple. I am not interested in memorization test. I am interested in Parayana test. So when
That
should
will
I
happen at the end. After all the 5 stutis are completed, we will have it.
Parayana? No?
Yes, we will have
And
it.
but on the what is that computer test that will be in the end only.
Yes, the state is just like last week. It is yet to be uploaded. Once it is uploaded, you will get it. So I have this. Yes.
Okay. And Parayana test I am not interested. Sorry, memorization test I am not interested.
That is okay. All are
Okay.
optional.
Thank you, sir.
Lakshmi NRS.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Actually, I don't know whether I can ask this question or not, because when we in the Srishti Adi time, we are all from the ultimate God, and we were in the purest form.
Correct.
How this now we say because of our Purva Janma Sukritam or Dushkritam, we are experiencing good or bad. But why that deviation happened to some in one way and for others in a different way? I don't understand.
Again, as I said, these are deepest of question which requires a separate study of Vedanta. From here, we capture the concept. These are good questions that have arisen. So stay with these questions. When we go to a more in-depth Vedanta class or somewhere where these questions are discussed, we can have a discussion on these. So all the
Actually,
questions that the 3-4 of you asked are all very closely related.
see, one way we say everything is predestined and we don't have anything we can of our choice, and other way we say it is because of our own karma. When we don't have any control
Both are
on
correct
that.
from 2 different perspectives. So all those have to be understood. All those are little beyond the scope of the course. We will stick to these verses
I
and
know. Thank you.
understand here. When we read that from a Vedanta Shastra perspective, then we will be able to apply it to these verses and see the depth of these verses again in new light.
Okay, thank you.
Kalkrishnan Mahodaya.
Good morning from here.
Morning.
I was just having so much difficulty trying to explain some of these concepts. Not that I know these concepts very well, to a Christian audience in a church. And I finally ended up saying, which I think is pretty correct, that, nature was created and it was created to be autonomous. It does its own thing. And the cause and effect is within it. And you just can't, extricate anything from nature because it is autonomous. And then the seed and the tree thing, I had to explain it as the unmanifest state first, and then to the manifest, and then to the unmanifest again of all beings and non-being. And then the cycle repeats. And then it was quite well accepted.
Yes, yes. That is the beginning of the explanation. Yes. Thank you very much. Dhanyavadaha sarvebhyah. We will meet again next week. If there is any small change in class timings like today, I will let you all know by Friday. Thank you very much. Dhanyavadaha. Punaha agrimas shanivasare drakshayamaha. Ram Ram.
Thank you so much. Ram Ram.